So, what do you do when seemingly perfectly okay points cause you nothing but problems? Well, what you do is you take them up, replace them with brand new stuff, and bin the old ones. So, watch this video and see what happened. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Route 7 Railway, and I hope I find you well in these troubling times again. So, I've had a nightmare with derailing coaches, in specific coaches derailing in amongst a rake of coaches that are fine and following all the rules, as it were. And I did all the usual things: clean the wheels, gauge the wheels with me trusty little gizmo, visual checks of the track, all the usual stuff like that. Oil in the wheels wasn't working. So what I did, I got some dipole wheels and started re-wheeling the ones that were behaving the worst, and that solved a lot of the problems, but not all of them. So I just couldn't resolve the issues, and most of the problem was derailing on points and reversing, and it was derailing on second-hand points and mainly, exclusively on second-hand Hornby points, sadly. The reversing I'll go into in a second. So what I did, I took the bull by the horns and I decided to rip all my old second-hand points out and replace them with brand new Peco kit. And I'm glad to say, in the locations where I've replaced all that kit, it's 95% solved the problems. Now the reversing was a coupling issue where I'd been mixing couplings old and new, and it's a non-starter, and most of you will be screaming at the camera going, we know this, but it's just something I've just learned. Also, one of the problems is the small couplings, like that one there, they are just, well, I've found them to be pants when it comes to reversing. So I've sent off some Hunt couplings to see if that'll make any difference with some of my kit. I've learnt a lesson, and the lesson is it's false economy buying second-hand points, especially second-hand Hornby points, I'm sad to say. I've saved the good Hornby points because I'm going to use them in maybe a shunting area where it's all very slow and there's no speeds involved, so I might get away with that. I'll show you now what I've done with the points, and then we'll get on to running some trains. Okay, the first area was here, this complex of crossovers here. I've replaced them with streamline Peco points, and in that location it's 95% solved the problem, so brilliant, made up with that. The next place was in this region here, this complex. I've got points there, both going to Little Fiddle Yard. There was a little crossover going up to the riser, and then there was a set of points in there. What I've done, I've replaced them all with Peco brand new kit and replaced the short crossover with a long one. And again, 95% solved the problem, made up. The only bits I've got left are, because I've lost confidence in the Hornby kit, and this is a major issue, I'm going to replace that point, which is a Hornby point, with a Peco version of it. One, because I get derailments here, and another because it's got the long insel frog on it, and I'll go and try and replace that. Over here, I'm going to replace this because it's a short point with a big insel frog on it. That's going to be replaced. And I may change the geometry of this crossover here for a long crossover and sort that out there, and replace that point there with a Peco one. So I'm just waiting on them to arrive. So that is the work that's been done, and I'm pleased to say it's solved a lot of my problem. I just want to give you another little look around. There me trees, back scenes like that, love it. but I don't like the join, and I'm going to try and hide that with some sort of, maybe a mast, a telephone mast or something, just to hide that join. That'll be not a problem. That gap there, like I mentioned you before, is going to be hidden, or mostly hidden, with a scenic section, so that's not a problem. That I love the industrial scene. It's brilliant, lovely perspective on it. This tree scene here is okay, but the transition there is not good. It's just too abrupt, and I don't like it at all. Well, it just doesn't work, does it? You can tell by looking at it. But what I plan to do is to move the whole tree section along, maybe so wide. I'm looking at a low relief apartment block that I can paint up, fit and paint up as if this is the rear of the apartment block, and that will break it up, and I think that might work. And I think I've got space there for a low relief to go in there, because if I move this out, I can actually recess it so it's nearly flush with the surface, so it won't encroach too much on the track. There. So that's my plan for there. So this is a little bit of an update, not the video that I wanted to do, but I hope you understand that you can't go forward and leave problems behind untreated. Hi, and welcome back. So if you're wondering where the running session's gone, I've split it, and I'm going to be uploading that very shortly after I've uploaded this video. So let's see how that goes. So just a quick recap on what happened with the points. I've just made myself some notes here, what the actual issues were with the points. It was second-hand points. It was exclusively Hornby second-hand points, but that was more to do with the fact that they were the ones that bought. This could have happened with second-hand Peco points, or I presume. What I found is visual inspection didn't show up a lot of the stuff. One point had very, very slightly one twisted rail. So if you imagine that's the surface, the tops of the two rails, one of them was very slightly like that. I mean, you would, to look at it, you wouldn't even see it. But when I got closer inspection, and even closer inspection, I actually found that problem. The other one was there were broken chairs on the rails, and as soon as you tried to do anything with the rails, everything just popped out. So that was that. The radiuses were wrong for a start, so that was my fault, utilising the wrong radiuses. So that was sorted. And I also found a couple of them had misaligned switch rails, these actual switch rails on the points. They wouldn't sit into the little slot. If you look closely, where they push against the actual rails, there's a little slot so that they fit flush, so they don't derail your trains. And these were misaligned and wouldn't sit in that slot properly, so it just were derailing the trains. And for the life of me, I couldn't get them to fit in those slots. So they were the issues. And what I replaced them with was new Peco kit, medium radius points, and they were either streamline or set track. So all the modifications have been a great success, so I can move on and carry on improving the layout. So please like and subscribe this video. It costs you nothing, and it really boosts morale when you see people subscribing to your channel. And please take care of yourselves, especially through the upcoming lockdown again. I mean, in Liverpool, we've been locked down for a while anyway, but it's going to be a little bit more severe. So please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.